Hi, I'm Rebecca Davis. A weird, scary, and interesting. I know it's been a while since this channel's had an episode recorded and produced. So, uh, since I'm back in this time, we are gonna today talk about elective monarchies through Asian history. Okay, if you remember last season, we learned about elective monarchies through African history. So we're going to do a complete different continent. We're going to the continent of Asia. Okay. We'll get into it a little bit. A monarchy ruled by a monarch who is elected. It's a person that, just like we go to the polls and elect, like a president or a prime minister, or some places have, like chancellors and that. It's the same idea, except we are not electing a politician. It'd be electing a monarch to rule a country. So, based on the consent and free choice of people, like we have to elect a politician, we have the free choice to choose who we want to run the country. So we have the free choose to, in these countries, they have the free choose to choose the who wants to be a monarch and rule their country. A monarch are elected or appointed by someone electoral college for life or defined period. Like, say, for example, in the United States, you're only allowed to run for a 4-year term, and it depends on, it depends on, with a monarch, it depends on the country, how many years they're going to allow the monarch to be a monarch that's elected. Like, okay, the difference between elected is the person that is elected into the office of being a monarch. Same as we elect, like here in Canada, we elect a prime minister. And appointed is more or less somebody that is chosen into that role. Like maybe, say, for example, the former king, like King Shaka, appoints the next guy. That's how it would go. In Asia, elective monarch means the monarch's position is not automatically inherited. So more or less, once daddy or mommy dies, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, they have to be election happens, and a couple of guys or 5 guys or whatever, how many are campaigning to be that monarch. And sometimes it could be monarchs from different countries running for that certain country's office. Okay. But rather chosen by a civic body council. Malaysia is a noble example where Yan Di Dai Pia Un Aong. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Sorry for the people watching in Malaysia. And that means in English, a supreme head of state. It's the same idea as mainly any other type of monarchy we will learn later on this channel. It's more or less it's the top dog, it's the top position, it's the guy that's in charge of everything. Okay, is elected to a 5-year term by the Conference of Rulers. So Malaysia, that's how long the ruler has. A little longer than what the presidents of the United States have. Comparison of the 9 hereditary rulers of Malay states. Okay. Today we learn all about 10 elective monarchies through Asian history. I'm sorry if there's quite a bit of glare behind me. As you can see, I'm standing today. I am actually recording this episode on my new tablet that I got a couple of weeks before my 40th birthday. Yeah. On July 31st, I became middle-aged. Okay. Before we get into learning about all of our 10 elective monarchies through Asian history, I'm going to take a sip out of my Pepsi. Okay, let's get into it. Okay, number 1 is the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Kingdom of Jerusalem was a brain work today. A crusader state. Okay, now the brain's getting me now. Jerusalem was a crusader state established in 1099 by Western European warriors in lands conquered from Muslim rulers in modern-day Israel and Jordan. During the First Crusade, Kingdom of Jerusalem was established during the First Crusade as a semi-elective monarchy. More or less, it was semi. It wasn't fully elective. It was, let's say, on the borderline that it was. There was the option of it could be elective and it could not be. Okay. While there was a hereditary line of a session, so it was more or less elective and hereditary. and already existed. So hereditary was already established during the time of the Crusades. That before they threw in the whole elective monarchy idea. So it more or less it was half elective and half hereditary. Okay. The king was formally elected or recognized by Hant Court. Do you want to know what the hell that's spelled? HauteeCour. The kingdom's high court. The system placed the king was premise and entered Paris, first among the equals with the Harut Crow, holding a significant influence over the monarch. You know what? I have an ancestor that is King Fulk the Fifth, and he actually married into the kingdom of Jerusalem. His second wife was the reigning queen of Jerusalem. And King Fulk was my 30th great grandfather. So, anyway, I do have a connection to Jerusalem, but not biologically, because his second wife was Queen Melisande. She was the ruler of Jerusalem. She was my step grandmother, step 30th great grandmother. King Fulk was my biological 30th great grandfather. I had to figure that out whether there was a biological connection to Jerusalem or not, but he's actually through his second wife. So he wasn't actually the king of Jerusalem. He only was connected through his second wife. So, okay. Anyways, we'll move on from my family from my little family knowledge connection to Jerusalem. Okay. We'll move on from the kingdom of Jerusalem, which has a lot of religious connections there, to our number 2, and that's our second kingdom, is Afghanistan. Yeah, Afghanistan one time it used to be in a kingdom. If you remember my badass episode from last season, one of the queen consorts was on there from Afghanistan. Okay, let's learn about the kingdom of Afghanistan. Afghanistan is officially Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan. It is a landlocked country located at the crossroads of Central and Southern Asia. So it's kind of like that song, I'm Stuck in the Middle with You. It's like that. It's stuck in the middle between Central and South Asia. Afghanistan's history has since both hereditary to eliminate exact elective elements in its monarchy. Just like we learned about the Kingdom of Jerusalem. It has best of both worlds, elective and hereditary. While the country has predominantly been ruled by dynasties, there have been instances where sessions was influenced by factors. Beyond direct inheritance, reflecting elective tendencies. For example, during the, hopefully I get this name right, Durrani Empire, the selection of Timur Shah, and it involved elements of both inheritance, parentess by key figures, simply the Bar Zaya, spelled Barakzai dynasty. While the hereditary, some periods of constant accessions and the influence of powerful individuals and factions. The 1964 Constitution of Afghanistan also introduced elements of constitutional monarchy with a limited parliamentary elections, just like we see with politicians. We elect the new guy. The same in this idea of elective monarchies, so you elect the new top dog. Take another sip and then we'll move on to number 3. So I'm taking a sip. Okay. Now let's move on from Afghanistan. To our third elected monarchy, and that is Persia. You should know that word because that name is connected to what today is Iran. Okay. Persia was an Achaemenid Empire or Achaemenid Empire, also known as the Persian Empire. The Persian Empire expanded quite a bit across Asia. Not as big as some empires did, but they did. I mentioned that area was mentioned during when I talked about former monarchies through ancient times. So, no, okay, let's get back to this. Known as the Persian Empire, or the First Persian Empire. So the Persian Empire had several periods that it went through as an empire itself. And it was the Iranian Empire. So Iran had its own empire itself at one time. More or less, this empire was kind of like, it was a rap artist. They had several names. Went through different names over time. Okay. And the Iranian Empire was founded by Cyrus the Great of the Achaemenid dynasty. All the way back in 550 BC. That's a long, long time ago back in history. Based in modern day Iran. Iran's been a lot in the news lately. It was the latest empire by the point in history, spanning the total of, wait for it, 5.5 million square kilometers. Could you imagine owning a property that big? That'd be a lot to maintain. In Persian history, the Parthian Empire spanned from 248 BC to 224 BC. No, AD, sorry. That's quite a bit of time. It is most notably example of an elective monarchy. So if it wasn't elective, it didn't have elective monarchy, it wouldn't be on this list. So, the King of Kings, and no, not Triple H. A different King of Kings, was required to undergo a vote of approval from the nobles, known as, hopefully I get this right, Mahistan. Before ascending to or being removed from power. While not per elective system, the Achaemenid Empire also saw debates among governance, with one individual arguing for a democratic principles, including the option to office by law. So somebody back then was considering the whole idea of democratic idea to have somebody elected into office instead of having a monarchy that is inherited, like goes from parent to child, or if the child is not alive, it goes from grandparent to grandchild, or sometimes it'd be like if there's a sibling that didn't have kids, it would go from the one sibling to the other sibling, and then it would go from, and then down from that one sibling's bloodline. So more or less somebody was thinking, let's just do something different for a change. Okay. Let's go from Persia to number 4. And number 4 is the Mongol Empire. Now, the Mongol Empire is connected to one of my favorite ancient cultures, ancient China. Because a lot of the Mongol rulers used to rule over China. Okay, let's see why the Mongol Empire was elective. Otherwise, I wouldn't be on this episode on the channel. It's scary Ezra. Okay. The Mongol Empire was the latest conquest empire in history. It was like one of those cultures that conquest a lot of territory. Ordaining and present Mongol in East Asia, the empire at its height stretched from the Sea of Japan to Eastern Europe, expanding. So yeah, it spanned from Sea Japan. Actually, it tried to conquer Japan at one time. I heard it didn't work so well because Japan has there's a sea between Asia and Japan. And they got more lucky when they conquered parts of Europe. Because you watch some historical shows, it'll show that a lot of the Mongol raiders coming into European territories. I think they even one time tried to conquer what today is Turkey. At one time it was the Ottoman Empire. Okay. Mongol Empire. Employed a system of elective monarchy, especially a semi-elective monarchy. So they weren't full; they were kind of semi, like borderline, where the Great Khan, that's the title of the ruler, was Great Khan, was chosen by a call of the. Ooh, I hope I get this right. Q Ka U Ru La. Okay, illustrate. Q Ko Ru Tai. Okay. Sorry for the people that live in Mongolia if it's watching us if I screwed that word up. This council consists of a powerful Mongol princes, chiefs, who would elect a new Great Khan. From the lineage of Genghis Khan. That guy is well known through history. Um, okay. He's from the Burgaijin clan. While not a democratic election in the modern sense, yeah, not in the modern sense where everybody goes out to the polls and casts their votes. It's a little different. It's just chiefs and princes casting their vote for who's going to be the top dog. Okay. The Karu Arutai provided a mechanism for selecting a leader. Practically after the death of the Great Khan. So more or less once the Great Khan is out of the world, it's election time again. Kind of almost like, let's use for example, the idea of the Pope. Once the idea of when the Pope dies, sometimes they do retire, but it's very rare. But mainly, if the Pope dies, and it's election time, all the people at Vatican City has to go and cast their vote. You know, the ones that are lower than the guys that are lower in the session line for the Pope. They go and cast their vote, and we all wait for the smoke off the chimney. Comes out of the chimney. If it's white, we got a new guy. If it's like black or gray, I guess we have to wait for a little bit more. It's the same idea as the Mongols, minus the whole chimney idea. It's just they're going by more or less picking descendants of Genghis Khan to be the new guy. And as I say, I know the Mongol Empire through my favorite ancient culture, one of my favorite ancient cultures, the ancient China, because a lot of the Mongol rulers also ruled over in ancient China. Actually, I watched a few years ago. It's a good movie to watch, a TV show to watch on Netflix. It's still on Netflix. It's about Marco Polo. He hanged out in the Mongol Empire with the Great Khan. At that time, it was Kublai Khan. And another good movie, if you want to watch something that's even awesomer that has something with Mongol Empire in it, go and check out Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It's about these two crazy guys go back in history and they pick up Joan of Arc, Abe Lincoln, two princesses from European history. I still can't figure out where they place in European history. And they also pick up Genghis Khan. And at the end, they show the idea was they had to do some presentation for their history class, and they really knocked it dead by picking up different people through human history. from all over the world, from France, from the Mongol Empire, from the from the U.S.'s history. So yeah, there's a few ideas that you're interested in watching some stuff about the Mongol Empire. There you go. There's probably a lot more. Okay, let's move on from the Mongol Empire to number 5, and that is the Kingdom of Silla. Okay, Kingdom of Silla is one of the 3 kingdoms of Korea. Because remember, Korea at one time, before it is what we know now as North and South Korea, it was at one time a kingdom. But like as every other kingdom in human history, they at one time were all broken up into different kingdoms. So, as it says, Silla is one of 3 Korean kingdoms of Korea. And it existed from 570 BCE to 593 BCE. It eventually, entirely small chiefdom, so it was ruled by a chief. Different type of title for a ruler. And eventually grew into a dominant, the Kingdom Peninsula, the Korean Peninsula, so, by conquering the rivals E, G, and Go, Beery, Yo. Hopefully, sorry for you Korean and are watching this if I screwed up those names. I tried my best. Okay. With the help of the Tang Dynasty of China. So yeah, we're seeing China helping Korea, a Korean kingdom. This unification making the beginning of the unified Silla period. The kingdom of Silla was untimely developed into a hereditary monarchy. So it went from elective to hereditary. Right there. Okay. Into a hereditary monarchy entirely expeditionary characteristics of elective system. Okay, we got another one that has the best of both worlds. We got hereditary, got elective, we got the options. The Kingdom of Silla was eventually transitioning into hereditary rule. So it's more or less trying to get away from the elective idea and go to the whole bloodline that more or less that yeah, from parent to child idea, or from grandparent to grandchild, or to sibling, or to niece or nephew, or you get the idea. Yeah. Did feature elements of elective monarchy, principally in early stages during the periods of well, uh, did establish elective monarchy apparently in the early stages periods, establishing an entirely the bone ranking system while inherently allowing some grace of selecting through a ruling clan. So, say for example, kind of like what we see in the Mongol Empire, like we've learned just a little bit ago, that you just pick through the bloodline of the last guy, like we did with the Mongol Empire. They picked through the bloodline of Genghis Khan. So whoever was the bloodline they were trying to stick to in it from the kingdom of Silla, instead of getting some foreign guy to come in and rule the kingdom. It could be some guy that no one can stand. I kind of like politicians. Uh, but in this way, they're just strictly staying through that bloodline. Uh, that to so they can pick somebody that is to be the new one. It would be fair that because they were descended from that guy. Okay. Whether more power struggles and rebellions, in any type of any type of monarchy, you're going to see power struggles and religion. Rebellions through it, because we learned through history, through monarchy history, that one guy would get a little bit of power and think, I want to be king. Yeah, and that's where we see that one guy toppling the current ruler. And then that's where we get the wars and the whole, it sounds like my family tree. Like, say, for example, what we learned about the War in the Roses in Europe. That it was a power struggle too, because the Lancasters and the Yorks were trying to put their person on the throne, but it wasn't going that way. It only ended up having Henry VIII's parents have to marry. So any kingdom around the world have that exact same idea. Neither you're seeking quietly, aren't you? Okay. You want to say hi? Hi. Yeah. Get with her saying hi. Okay, let's get back. So yeah, so it doesn't matter what kind of monarchy around the world, you still see that whole idea of power struggles and rebellions. Okay, like, okay, here's a good example. Like the Bob Bam's rebellion. Okay. Demonstration of the own ability of the monarchy to challenge and portal for elective session, even if not formally. The early part of the kingdom of Silla is history of the bone rank system. Ooh, we got the bone rank system going on. The earliest rulers of Silla from the Park Sequel and King clans entirely held power through the system that involves some degree of selection or recognition by the ruling class. The bone rank system. Okay, let's see. While inherently did not always guarantee automatic succession to the throne. So let's say, okay, I'm not very good on Korean names. Okay, Kim. I don't know. So was the guy that got elected with some other guy. I don't know. See, I'm not good with Korean names. Uh, was the guy that uh might end up getting put on the throne instead of the guy that just got elected. That's not actually no. That's more or less not fair. I'd be pissed if I got elected to a job and then I found out. Oh, by the way, you're not the one in that job. Okay, periods of instability and selection during the time of crisis or a political upheaval, such as during Queen Sinduk's reign. Ooh, yeah, oh, hilarious. She's one of the historical royals of a royal tire. I've heard of this one. Um, and and the Van Dam's rebellion. The accession to the throne was not always pre-adamant. Rebellions and power struggles like the Dams highlighted potentially for selection or even. So, um, moral of the story from Kingdom of Scylla. Um, it's not easy to get elected in the Kingdom of Scylla. You could get elected, but you might not uh, uh, be able to keep the job because somebody else could be granted the job instead. As I say, I know. Sorry for the struggle of the Korean names. I know more Chinese names than Korean names. Because I'm not really fluent in, well versed in Korean history. I'm more versed in Chinese history. Okay, let's move on from the kingdom of Silla. For sure, I know the kingdom of Silla. But okay, well, anyways, let's move on from the Korean kingdom of Silla to our sixth kingdom, and that's the kingdom of Siam and Thailand. So yeah, we're going all the way from Korea to Thailand, but Thailand has two kingdoms, Siam and Thailand. Yeah. Kingdom of Siam is known as Kingdom of Thailand. So we know it as Kingdom of Thailand. Spans centuries, marking by the rise and fall of various kingdoms. So it rise and fall, and rise and fall, and rise and fall. It's almost like it's doing jazzercise. And eventually transitioned to a modern constitutional monarchy entirely, as we know it today, as a constitutional monarchy. In more or less later videos, when we do get into constitutional monarchy, we'll learn what a constitutional monarchy is. More or less, yeah. And the kingdom of Siam under an absolute monarchy. So there's another topic we'll talk about absolute, because it's not constitutional, it's not elective, it's absolute. It has a rule. It's more or less like constitutional is more or less a figurehead. Absolute is more like monarchy that does it all. Okay, and saw a significant social, economy, political, and development. In 1932, a revolution shifting the monarchy to constitutional monarchy. In 1939, it officially adopted the name Thailand as we know now. Despite the name change, the country retained its constitutional monarchy structure. So, yeah. So it's more. It's not absolute anymore. It's more or less. It's a figurehead. Structure. Monarchy structure. Well, the modern day Kingdom of Thailand is a constitutional monarchy. Excuse me. Thailand, in Thailand's history, it includes periods where covering elective monarchy exists. So it had Through Thailand's history, they had different types of monarchies. So more or less they were dabbling through different types of monarchies and trying a different. It's just like somebody trying out different clothes and hairstyles and looks to see how it fits, is to see what sticks, see what looks good. More or less like what the new fashion trend is, or what the new TikTok trend is, or something like that. Okay. Through often intertwining with hereditary succession, like a hereditary is, it goes from one person to another. Uh, Especially the idea of monarchies rule being independent and merit and socialite appearance, often than socially allegiant was present practically in the hopefully I get this name right. Suk hot Sukhothai period. Sukhothai period. Okay, we got that. However, over time, the covenant of hereditary monarchy became more predominant. It was more something that was more comfortable. They were more comfortable doing, especially with the establishment of the Chai Kari dynasty in 1782. Okay. If you want to watch the best movie about Thailand history, that was based in the time of the Kingdom of Siam. There's King and I, about Anna, ended up being the king of Siam's children's was it tutor or nanny, one of them. I know it's based on fiction, but I think it is. But it shows uh, I have to look it up. Sometime. But that's actually a good movie. I seen it with my grandma when she was alive. Okay. So there's you go. Um, that's a good movie to watch. It's King and I. Okay. Let's move on from Thailand, Siam in Thailand, to their neighbor. And it's at number 7, and it's Cambodia. Cambodia's history spans from the Stone Age settlements to the ancient indigenous kingdom of Yunnan. First to 6th century, the powerful Khmer Empire from 802 to 1431 Wow, that's quite a bit of time. And self-quiescent decline. Okay, we got some decline going on here. And the period of French colonial rule. Ooh, that's never good, colonial rule. From 1863 to 1953. I guess that's when the French got the idea that's not a good idea to be colonials. After gaining independence, Cambodia was destabilized by the Vietnam War. Oh yeah, it was destabilized. That's what I mean. Cambodia was destabilized by the Vietnam War and plugged into a genocidal regime of the Khmer Rouge from 1975 to 1979. Short time, but it happened. Horrifying things happened then. Followed by the Vietnamese occupation. Yeah, so the Vietnamese occupied Cambodia then. Okay. Modern day Cambodia recovered under the United Nations peacekeeping mission, thanks to the United Nations helping out in Cambodia there. Became a constitutional monarchy in 1993. I was just a little kid in 1993 when that happened. When when Cambodia became its own constitutional monarchy. And on top of it, it joined ASEAN. It's spelled ASEAN. In 1999. I was in mill years in 1999. Cambodia has elective monarchy today. So we went from constitutional to elective. Establishing in 1993 after a period of hereditary rule. So it tried different things. They tried hereditary, tried constitutional. Now it's with elective. However, Cambodia not always had elected monarchy. Okay. It was a hereditary monarchy most of its history, including, here's a favorite place, Angkor Wat. Yeah. Angkor Empire. Angkor. So this is the empire that is connected to Angkor Wat. You know that structure that is always that's on the Cambodia flag today? That's the empire that's connected to that. Okay. And was even established in 1970s. Modern elective monarchy. He was introduced under the French rule. Okay, we got some French rules being influencing Cambodia, formalized by the 1993 Constitution. Okay, there you go. You learned a little bit why Cambodia's elective and on this. Okay. I'll take another sip of my drink and then we'll move on. Pretty hot out today. Mhm. Okay. We're almost close to being done. We got two more left because we are moving on from Cambodia to number 8. And in number 8 spot is Malaysia. Malaysia's history began with prehistoric settlements, or there's quite a bit of kingdoms that started all the way back in prehistory, followed by the rise and fall of influenced empires like hopefully I get this right, the Shah, the Jaya, and the Malexika Sultanate, which influenced trade and the spread of Islam. After the period of the Dutch rule and the British gaining control in 18th and 19th century, establishing British Malaya. Following Japanese occupation during World War II, the Federation of Malaya gained independence in 1957. By 1963, the Federation of Malaysia was formed by inclusion of it's spelled Sabah, and the Sarawak through the Singapore, later separated in 1965. Malaysia was a federal constitutional elective monarchy. So we have it has constitutional and elective, same altogether. The monarchy system where Yang, Dai, Hiru, Kurt, Yu, and Anga. This means the king is elected by a confederation of rulers for 5 terms. So it's just like I explained to you early in this start of this video. Rotating among 9 hereditary rulers of Malay states. So it could be different guys between these 9 hereditary rulers of the Malay states. The state of Ni Jerry C. Lan is also elected monarchy within a federation, where is monarch is selected by ruling chiefs, reflecting the Manenkabu traditions of choosing rulers. So, there's a little different idea. Straight from the beautiful kingdom of Malaysia. Okay. Okay. We now have one left because we're going to move from Malaysia to all the way to number 9, and at number 9 is United Arab Emirates, UAE. United Arab Emirates. History span from ancient human inhabitants to forming in 1971 as a federation of the tribuscal states, which were under British protection from 1820. You see a lot of the British Empire through history popping up. Well, yeah. So, and also, you see a lot of places from all the way back in prehistory. Okay. Driven by a decline of pearling and discovering of oil. Yes, let's speak over there. Seven Emirates united under the leadership of, hopefully I get this guy's name right, Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan. Sorry for you people over in the United Arab Emirates if I screwed up. The guy in your history's name. I'm trying. Give me that. To form the modern nation. What we know now is United Arab Emirates, which has since rapidly developed into a modern trade and transport hub. United Arab Emirates historically governance was rooted in absolute monarchy, with 7 constitutional emirates ruling by hereditary monarchies, federal system establishing in 1971. I wasn't even born in 1971 when this happened. My roommate wasn't born in 1971. Anybody that was born in the 80s, or at least beyond 1971, wasn't born in 1971 or before that to see this. So that would have been quite a thing back then. Okay. It features a theoretical election of the president and prime minister of the federal system of council. So it has a president and a prime minister. It has both. Which contains these hereditary rulers. Therefore, the UAE, for short, is more acceptable described as a federal of the absolute monarchies with a semi-elective process for its top federal position, rather than monarchs are freely elected by by populace. Okay. Oh, now we know a little bit of the UAE. Okay. Now, I'll take the last sip of my Pepsi, and then we'll get on to our final elected monarchy. Okay. Let's move on from the UAE to our number and our 10th elected monarchy. It's in the same area as UAE, in the same is another Middle Eastern kingdom. It is Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia's history spans from ancient civilizations, the birth of Islam, the rise of Al Saud dynasty, which established the first Saudi state in 1727, after periods of foreign invasion and efforts of King Abdul Aziz. I have the name right. The modern kingdom of Saudi Arabia was proclaimed in 1932. The discovery of vast oil reserves in 1938. Yes, another Middle Eastern kingdom that is rich in oil. Transforming the nation into a global economy and political power. Through the continuance to navigate the regional conflicts and social shifts. Saudi Arabia is an absolute monarchy, not an elective one. But although its succession has been semi-elective since 2026, this year after I graduated high school. Though the creation of Alliance Council, this council of senior princes choose the crown prince that one day would become the future kingdom of Saudi Arabia. He is chosen from a limited filled a male descendants under the founder, King Abdullah's Aziz. So just like the Mongolian Empire, they choose through the first guy's bloodline. While the procession is not hereditary in sample, since it is controlling by the ruling family. There. I hope you like that. That video of elective monarchies through Asian time. It's a little different. To learn about elective monarchies through a different continent. Okay. So if you liked it, you know the drill. Like and subscribe, and don't forget to ring the bell. You know, like the song. So ring my bell. So for now, I'm not sure what I'm going to do now. I'm for my next script. I'm trying to get my Word Pro to work again, so make it faster to pump out some more scripts and pump out more episodes for my viewers. So for now, till whatever amazing episode of weird or scary or interesting topics I throw at you, so you can learn something new. I will say goodbye. Goodbye.